Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. It's going to be a kind of a journey for you today. Hi, my name is Jan Fernandez Leknecht. I'm going to be the host today because we have decided to change the way we talk to you. Usually it's a panel, usually we are experts and you listen to us, but today we want to everybody to be part of the journey. So it's going to be a role play. There will be you, brands, watch brand companies who are here, who will ask the question. We will have experts who will answer the question that I'm sure all of you have, either as a client, a company who would like to do the journey into the Web3, or you as a buyer, you want to buy a watch, or you want to invest in a watch. But then you have different questions because there are a lot of people talking to you about, wow, the blockchain technology has so many benefits. Wow, what is this NFT thing? So all these questions will be answered. What are my benefits to expand? How can my client will benefit from this? So this is what we are talking about now from 4 p.m. until 5:30. So make sure to stay with us because there will be questions also from you. And then you can join us to the cocktail after that. And we'll be happy to exchange and drink a few drinks with you. So let's start. So we have the first part where have two brands, Vanier and Behrens, and our two experts. So that will be the first part, and the second part will be use cases. Once you have understand how it works, once a few questions of yours have been answered, how can you implement that? But now let's start with the people over here. So a few words about me. I'm Tian Fernandez Leknecht. I'm a Swiss lawyer, the co-founding manager of Holistic, a Swiss tax and legal company active since 2018 in the Web3 technology. And I'll be happy to introduce the different people over here. So on my right, we have a Web3 expert, Alexandra. She will answer from a strategic point of view, how can you make this journey? And then on her right, you have Emilia Alice Fabrizi. She's a communication strategy, creative strategist, because what is one of the most important in this journey, in this Web3 sector, is your community. Because actually, people will be part of your community and how you communicate and how you create this community. So it's my immense pleasure now to hand over the mic to our first CEO, Natasha Vanier. She's impressively a real, a true, authentic horloger. And she has many other expertise. And Natasha, would you like to say a few words about you?
Bonsoir à tous. Ravi de vous voir ici à ce salon Time to Watches. Donc, je me présente, Natasha Vanier. Donc, j'ai la marque Vanier. En quelques mots, je pourrais me présenter plutôt comme une artiste artisan, donc horloger. Je réalise principalement donc, des montres, des pièces squelettisées à la main, qui est vraiment mon art de cœur. Donc, ces pièces représentent un travail immense, près de 150 heures pour en réaliser une, parce que, si vous voulez, le design, pour moi, est très important parce qu'il relève toutes les difficultés que représente cet art. Donc, chaque pièce, pour moi, est un chef-d'œuvre pour sublimer tout ce qui est difficile de faire à la main et qu'on ne peut pas faire machine. Donc, voilà pourquoi je me présente comme une artiste artisan horloger. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, Natasha. And then it's my huge pleasure because Switzerland is international and watch is international. And we will have the CEO of Behrens who will speak in his language. And we have Mang Wang who will translate that to you. Thank you.
好，谢谢大家。贝伦斯呢是一家集研发设计、 与制造于一体的一家独立制表的一个品牌。那么它一直坚持的话是它的原创以及原创的这种结构设计。那么对于我们整个团队来说的话，我们是天马行空的，我们很多的就是团队的这个成员的话是做不同行业里边。那我们在创意在设计上面的话，我们需要的话更多元。那么我们这几年的话，我们在中国的话也在提倡着这个原创设计。所给品牌带来的价值，我们希望的话，在这个行业里边的话，能够为原创设计的话去发声。好，谢谢大家。
Hello everyone. I think as you have seen on the screen, the translation, Behrens watches, it's a Chinese watch brand. Their mission is really to be innovative and to focus on the mechanical watches. And then they wish to go further than that and wish to redynamize the watch industry. And they have united different very creative artists and watchmakers. And today they are present in different continents, Southeast Asia, India, and then our next goal is to come to Europe, and then we look forward to exchange more with you later. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's start then. I believe you, Natasha, you told me many questions. You have been, looking for information. Of course, you read a lot. You saw the opportunities, but there are also things that you have to consider before you have to invest into this new strategy. You have to make sure that what are the advantages? Does it fit to my brand? Does it fit to my identity, right? So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Alors, c'est vrai qu'on avait discuté avec Chang, j'ai des questions parce que ce sont des technologies qui pour moi aujourd'hui, elles sont évidentes. Et je pense on ne peut pas passer à côté. Donc, pour une structure comme la mienne, qui est une jeune marque, surtout qui se positionne dans des produits d'artisanat de luxe, ce serait intéressant pour moi de connaître les avantages que peuvent apporter le Web 3 par rapport au Web 2. Dans différents, peut-être, au niveau de la communication, ça paraît évident, mais peut-être aussi au niveau des technologies blockchain, peut-être pour réduire certains coûts d'administration, comment ça peut donner un avantage à une jeune marque comme la mienne.
Okay, I'm going to take over in English. I'm sorry, my French is not that perfect, especially when it becomes technical. I would like to ask a question to the audience first. Who of you knows what Web3 is? Okay, 2 people. So if you allow me, I'm going to explain very briefly to the rest who don't know what Web3 is. So Web3 is an iteration of the internet as we know it. Okay, so Web 1 was from approximately 1994 to the 2000s, where we were basically just consuming information. We were reading what was put in front of us, right? Web 2 was an iteration of Web 1 because now we could read information, but we could also create content. So here the players like Instagram, Facebook, etc. Came into play. And now with Web 3, it's an iteration of Web 2, logically. And not to get too technical, but with Web 3, actually, we can read, we can write, and we can actually own. So we own the content that we produce. We are able to own digital assets, which is like the biggest revolution. And it is a blockchain-based technology, which means it is decentralized. And all the players all the users that are part of the blockchain are owning their data. And this is really, really super, super cool. Is it loud enough? Yeah. Okay. Okay. And now, as you are a super cool young brand, a watch brand, I think, or from our perspective, Web3 gives you a super cool opportunity to connect with your clients, to connect with those that you are actually selling the product to. You can communicate with them. You can transform information to them, and that is all based on the blockchain through tokens, right? So if I, for example, buy your watch, and I buy also a token, then you and I, we're directly connected. You can send me information, updates about your company, about new watch releases. You can incentivize me to come to some of your events, or you can send me loyalty points so I can accumulate them. And when I buy a new watch from you, I have a discount. So this is all that this technology allows for young brands, but in general brands. I think it's really strengthening the bond of the consumer with the brand without a middleman.
Et typiquement, ce que vous énoncez, sur quel support c'est possible? Parce que quand on entend ces technologies des tokens, et puis la possibilité d'être en lien, de donner des informations, on pourrait dire, pour envoyer un mail, qu'est-ce que ça apporte en plus que ces supports-là?
Maybe I'm not sure to get the whole question. What do you mean with support?
Parce que peut-être faudrait définir un petit peu ce que c'est que ces tokens, qu'est-ce que ça amène. Justement, on peut dire que on achète un token ou on achète une montre, peut-être définir un petit peu cet aspect-là.
Okay, so a token is basically, it could be a digital representation of a physical asset. So if I buy a watch from you, then the token is kind of in the digital space proving that the watch is mine. It could be in the form of a certificate. So it is basically kind of connecting the digital world and the physical world.
It's a new layer. Yeah. It's a new layer of connectivity. Yeah. With it's like the DTC, direct to consumer brands. Now you get rid of the middleman, the retailer, the wholesaler. Thanks to the Web3, you will have more than the customer experience. You will have the direct line and contact with the owner, the real owner of the brand, of the product, of your product. Today, so for instance, someone come up and say, okay, I want to buy your watch. You ask him or her email, and you have your mailing list. Maybe updated or not, and sometimes far from it, because you change your email or this kind of thing, and maybe the first owner will sell again the watch. So you're losing the contact with the actual and real owner of the product. So thanks to the Web3 linked to the NFT, you can keep inform the real owner.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
follow
Yeah.
and track the sale.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you know
And
where
this
your
is
physical...
a very, very important point for a small brand, small or for a brand.
I will add the legal and tax aspect. Sorry, this is my job, right? But just to make because everything she said, what they both say is correct, but just about the legal aspect is, nowadays, every time you sell a watch or another item of value, you receive a certificate, either paper or there is some registry, digital registry. But they all have weaknesses. A paper is easy to destroy. Registry don't necessarily have the history behind, is not immutable, is not public, or at least, there are a lot of constraints. The blockchain technology go over these weaknesses with this immutability, with this traceability, a lot of things. So I won't go into many details why, but you can think in the way that it's a digital way to say what you are buying is real, is authentic, and it can prove it to you. Actually, we say certificate, but actually we can say it's a proof. But in the second part of this talk, there will be two experts who will explain to you how can we make sure that this proof is really a proof. It's all about trust. It's all about certification. So stay tuned to the second part of the talk.
I want to add something that I think is a super, super important part of using token economy or Web3. It's really all about community. So all the token holders, they can communicate to each other, and you are also a part of the community, and they are becoming a part of your brand. By, for example, they can create designs, and they can let you know what they want. So it's really very customer-centric, the whole technology. And they can really tell you what they want and give you a direction of how you can serve them better. So it's a really nice tool for community management and marketing, to be really in touch with them and to make them loyal customers.
I'd like to add, when you were talking about the support and the tool, now you have a decentralized application, what we call DApp, and you have providers, and you can have a kind of template, and they you like an application on your smartphone and Apple Store, this kind of thing, and after that you can have all the advantage Alex just mentioned before with your community, stay in the group and build on your community. But we are at the beginning. We really are at the beginning, and I think Web 2 and Web 3 will likely coexist for a long time to come, really. And so it's a plus, and we really have to be ready for standing among the first. We have to prepare ourselves to understand, to be educated or educate your customer. Is it okay?
Mr. Lin, you probably also have a question that you would like to ask to our expert.
Sure. So I will represent Mr. Lin to ask a question. Before that, I think in order for you to better understand the brand, I will just play a short video for you to better know what the product looks like. I hope you. Apparently, I don't have the sound. Hope you can have a clear look. So we can imagine Behrens is quite a sci-fi brand, and been very into the universe and focused on the watch movements. And here is their latest collection. As you can see, we focus on different watchmaking movement, precision. And also Behrens has been the winner of the GPHG in 2020, and they have been innovating a lot in the watchmaking, especially mechanical watchmaking. On this watch movement, we can see our cosmic system. Actually, another story, Behrens has been collaborating with also our Chinese universe rocket project. So there will be more interesting projects coming next year. So stay tuned. If some of you know the three-body problem, that could be something very interesting you can look forward. So far, it's still like a secret. Please, next year, probably we'll have something coming up. Thank you. And then now here's the question. I will ask Mr. Lin to say it in Chinese. I will translate after.
啊，作为一个年轻的一个中国品牌来说的话，那么我们在消费端的话也是相对比较年轻的。那么在这块获客上面的话，有没有什么样的一个Web3上面有没有什么更好的一个方法？
Thank you. So, dear experts, thank you for your time. I have a question. Is Behrens being a young brand, non-Swiss watch brand, quite avant-garde? So, what kind of suggestion you have for us to enter the European market, especially knowing that our clientele is kind of young? Thank you.
I'll go first. It's a very, very interesting question, and a bit hard to answer. But I mean, looking at the video and looking looking at the watches, they're very avant-garde, they're super modern, it's a young clientele. So how do we get in touch with them? I think when we talk about younger generation, Gen Z, it's all about community, it's about creation, to be part of the process. So what you could do is maybe ask the community or the users to make a design of a new watch that they find super cool. And then the designs, or several designs, and they can get voted through the community, and then the winner of the voting will then actually be produced into a physical watch. So they have the feeling that they were co-creating, that they were part of the process, and that it's actually also their product that you are launching. So they are part of it, and I think that's one of the most important aspects of Web3.
Thank you very much. A very good idea.
You know, to me, either in the Web 2, Web 3, in real life, or traditional world, or anywhere, or no matter you call that, you need to know who is your target audience. It's very, very important. You need to know who are you talking to, and what are they. What is their relationship to new technology? Are they owners of NFTs before? And maybe sometimes some brands start to educate even their young clients with workshop in their shop, with YouTube video, with this kind of thing. But the point is,
Louder.
you just need to know and to identify your target audience first.
But we can discuss that in detail afterwards.
Because this is a very, very huge question.
Thank you very much.
Oui, je voulais peut-être revenir sur ce qu'on disait avant. Je comprends que l'idée de cette confiance, de déjà, pour une marque, avoir une communauté qui la suit. Donc déjà, peut-être le Web 2 aide à créer cette communauté, créer ce lien avec la marque. Et finalement, le Web 3 apporterait, du moment qu'on a cette confiance dans ces nouvelles technologies qui servent de certification pour suivre les pièces et avoir confiance dans une potentielle revente ou ce genre de choses, de suivre la vie de ce produit tout le long. Mais finalement, je comprends qu'il faut commencer potentiellement par avoir cette communauté et créer ce groupe, cet engouement autour d'une marque.
Same issue with the Web3. You need first, and especially when you are a young brand, you need a community. So you just have to play with new rules, new way to connect with them, to find them where they are, compared to the Web 2. But you know, they are the same people sometimes, and some are different, but sometimes they are the same. So you can find them in Instagram as well.
So my role is to challenge you, experts, because of course I understand it. I'm a lawyer, but actually I have the same question. How do you build a community, and why is it so important? I understand that you always need a community, a fan base, let's say, or followers. But why in the Web3 can you enhance? Does it support your business? Why is it important, especially in the Web3?
I think it's not especially in the Web3. A community is very important. In every field, your community is your client, so it's important. And when you have something to sell, you need someone to buy. So you need a community. The difference is how you connect with your community and how you can keep the contact with the owner of your product. And this is a big key and a game changer compared to Web 2. This is the point. So your community is the owner and the holder of your product. It's not something you don't know what.
And can I add to that very quickly? So there are also certain channels that you can reach those potential users, and you have to be you can hire people for that, that know how to talk in those channels. One of the biggest is Discord, where those people meet. And big brands all have kind of a space in Discord. And it's a different type of language, so you need to have experts that are managing these communities and also speaking the right language to them. But I think what is important when you want to create a community is like the long-term vision. So what are we trying to achieve together? What are your benefits actually if you are part of the community? What does it mean for you if you have a token? Can you go to some special events, or do you accumulate points, or can you meet the CEO? All those, you can come up with so many interesting ways and things. You can create trips for your community, a sailing trip like Panerai, for example, which is one of, the biggest watch brands. They created for their token holders a yacht, a sailing trip in Italy, Amalfi. I don't know. It was just out of this world. But this is also a way to connect to them and to incentivize, being part of that community.
You can do it the thing is, what Alex was saying, you can do it in real life. You don't need an NFT to contact your client, to make a great event and exciting moment with them. But you really need to attract them in your Web3 world, because this is the technology of tomorrow for you, for your brand. So you have to be creative, and even if you can do it in the normal and the regular world, do it with the Web3 or within the Web3 field to attract new customers, new clients, and build your community. It's not a different community, it's not something different, because an event in real life is an event in real life. Web 2, Web 1, Web 3, Web 4, anything, it's okay, but the challenge is... And the challenge is to bring people in your world and your 3.0 ecosystem. That's why you really have at this point to be creative.
I love both your answers. Why? That's because we tend to focus on, Web3 is the hype. Blockchain will solve everything. It's not about that. It's a tool. They are telling you whatever the technology that you're going to use, anyway, you have with your identity, with your product, the service that you provide to your clients, you have to convince them. The technology here is going to help you to have to create a better client experience. She said, Alexandra, that indeed the token is something you can give your fan base, saying because instead of a paper voucher, right, you can give them token with some. You have embodied and given some advantages, maybe some reward, some loyalty reward, some discount,
as
or they are able anything that you want to give them,
this
so
is
that
your creativity.
they can exactly.
So
and on the other side, why would you do that? That's because you also, as a company, have also in the token some features that would benefit you and increase value for you and increase value for your customer. Exactly. So it's the technology that improves the process, but the community, you have to create them
and
in
a
any
community
way. Exactly.
That's very hard.
But
once you have them, once you have your community, then possibilities are literally endless.
But to create the community, you really need a story, and you need a narrative, and you need to find your DNA and communicate on your DNA, as we always do. Eventually, it's back to the basic. Who are you, and why I want to buy your product, and why should I buy your product?
So, au départ, il faut créer cette communauté, et la technologie du Web3 va servir, justement, comme vous le disiez, à amener du contenu, amener des choses, typiquement au niveau de la de la possession, de s'assurer de suivre cette durée de vie du produit. Donc c'est cette technologie qui vient en soutien, en support, mais au tout départ, il faut créer.
When you're
Parfait.
opening an Instagram page, you're creating a community. So
Très
just
clair.
a new channel with Discord or Twitter because you have to find people on other channels, but this is the same.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lin. So we have explained how community, how loyal customers are important for every brand, every company. So you would like to expand the awareness of Behrens across different continents. So what is your vision, and how would you see maybe your journey into the Web3 and creating your fan base?
其实刚才的话就是有一点说的特别好，就是基于这种设计，让粉丝来为品牌来设计。那其实我们这一块我们已经在做了，就是我们会用年轻人的思维来为年轻人去制造属于他的一个作品，或者说一种产品，这个我们已经在做了。而且我觉得刚才提的点的话非常好。
Actually, I really liked the idea that you suggested that we should engage with the young customers to have their creation and then to co-create some watch pieces with us. We actually have this already in our agenda to ask for their advices. We have a very strong fan base in Asia already. So I really liked the idea.
So nice to hear.
So maybe for Europe, we have discussed about it, and then maybe have another question is like being, let's say, a buyer. Why would I want to buy NFT apart from the real watch?
Apart from, or I mean, you can. I think the.
Is it a digital twin, a certificate, something linked to the product, or just an NFT, which is a piece of art?
Just, anything NFT apart from the certificate.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start, and then you can add if you want. I think if the NFT for your brand makes sense if it goes along with the physical product. So if you have the watch, you can always sell an NFT with it. And why would I be interested in buying the NFT? I think for me as a consumer, it's interesting to have it digitally, because I can not only am I wearing the watch and I'm showing the watch to everybody here in the room, I have the watch in a digital world, and I can actually showcase it to millions and millions of people in a gallery. So if I want to brag, then I can really start bragging. But it's, I think, mostly also being part. If I have the NFT, I'm part of a community. I don't know if you've heard of Bored Apes Yacht Club, which is one of the most famous NFT communities. It's a club, and it's a very exclusive club. And I would be happy in like when I have an NFT of Behrens to to receive information about like how was my watch made, where do the parts come from, are there any workshops that I can attend to learn about the company, to meet other people that are wearing a Behrens watch. So that would for me be an incentive to buy the NFT next to the physical product. Yeah.
So first of all, Mr. Lin, really appreciate your idea of the workshop, which allows one customer to engage to meet the other customers. Yeah. Yes, really highly appreciate it. And then otherwise, we have a question, which is how do you reverse the process? Meaning, like based on the NFTs, how can you build this trust of ownership of the real watch? Like starting from the NFT that you get, how can you show others like you actually really own this physical watch?
That's the next part on certification and trust.
Okay. Thank you.
We're going to have certification experts on stage
And real one.
that are really good in what they do.
I
they
would
will
like
touch
to
upon
add
that.
just a few details about what is NFT. So these non-fungible token, I know it's a super hype word, and most people believe it can be just a certificate of ownership. But actually, everything your imagination, be it the business model, rental of your watch, selling, royalties, exposition, or whatever you think of can be created in an NFT. Of course, computers have to allow technically, but actually everything can be supply chain. Indeed, every component, you can trace it, because we know it's a nightmare today when you have different components across the world, different companies creating these different parts of the watch. Maybe you have also some timber in it because you want it to be super sustainable, recycle, etc. And how can you make sure that your watch is really sustainable? For example, we have a Swiss made 60%. It means that we want to prove that 60% at least has been created and been done in Switzerland. And the rest, because the rest you may want it to be from different parts that you want make sure it is. This is one possible use case, but there's so many of them. So maybe you can talk of one of your experience. You probably have many clients who has made use of NFTs, because we have been talking about certificate of ownership, but it can be also in many sectors like humanitarian sector, philanthropy, there's etc. But let's stop in the luxury and watch sector. You probably have clients who ask you, okay, what is an NFT, except the fact that it can be a certificate of ownership, that, for example, she's 100% Swiss, so how does it help her to prove beyond the ownership, it prove that her product is what it is?
I'd like to answer part 2.
Okay. Because
It's the certification, but the example of business ideas.
so you mean like supply chain? Okay.
No, because I'm, with the watch in the watch industry. Right now, at this time, if I want to be honest, I'm running masterclass for a digital team and explaining what is the NFT, what is the metaverse, what is these technologies. So at this time, I don't really have for watchmaking, from my point of view, on my side, a concrete example. But I'm working with artists and galleries, and at this time, it's the NFT like a title of a certificate of ownership. So for artists, it was something very great. It is something very great, very new, and it has a lot of advantage for them, and it's a new revenue stream. But for a watch brand, we really have to think about your why. What is your brand? And after that, we will find an ID.
do we have some questions in the audience? I think there's a question.
Yes,
for
please,
you.
please.
Hello. Yeah.
Hi.
Thank you very much. Hi. Thank you very much for all this explanation. I would like to tell you that we have here the first Swiss mechanical watch certified on the blockchain, which is the master block here. And you have a real use case that you can see all the certification process, and you can see all the steps, and it's a real wallet directly on your watch. And it's 100% mechanical, nothing electronical on it. So if you want to visit us, please come to Masterblock.
For sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, can I ask which blockchain are you based?
So first of all, this is not NFT. We are fully agnostic on blockchain, and we certify on every kind of blockchain. So the one I have on my head, it's on Bitcoin, and we can also certify on Ethereum and the other blockchain. So we use another technology than NFT. for several reasons that I don't want to speak here now, but we can certify on every kind of blockchain.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that was a teaser, starters, because there are so many things you have understood that there are so many possible use cases, business cases available. So now I would like to give the floor to our expert to your question. Feel free. You have two experts at your disposal to ask as many questions as you wishes. Please feel free. Or, of course, you can also ask our guests, Vanier and Behrens, question to them. Is there anyone who would start first with a question? I know it's difficult.
J'ai peut-être une question d'un point de vue plutôt légal. J'aimerais savoir s'il y a certaines limites. Parce que je pensais, par exemple, à une société qui émet des actions, on peut les acheter, faire du business avec cela, de la spéculation. Par exemple, une personnalité dans une marque comme un CEO, un créateur, est-ce qu'il peut créer un NFT où on pourrait se dire, en fait, il crée un NFT d'une propre personne qu'on pourrait acheter. En fait, est-ce qu'on pourrait acheter des parties de personnes? Est-ce que c'est légalement, il y a des limites de ce type-là?
Human body is not on sale. So, no.
That's great. Alors, je vais répondre en français. Désolée, je répondrai. Alors, bon, déjà, avant d'arriver dans les NFT à la blockchain, on parle d'une personne. Et avant tout ça, effectivement, il y a déjà les lois d'une manière générale qui s'appliquent. Et c'est les débuts de mes cours de droit. Les droits de la personnalité, en principe, ne se vendent pas. D'accord? Donc, on ne peut pas vendre la main parce qu'effectivement, vous êtes une excellente horlogère et je me dis, je veux créer ma marque de montre de main et j'achète vos mains. À la limite, j'achète votre expertise ou je loue votre expertise et ça pourrait être effectivement inscrit dans un NFT où je me dis, moi, je suis douée à 90% pour créer une montre, il me manque juste la touche de la super horlogère et je voudrais avoir 10 heures de votre temps chaque année. On pourrait avoir un contrat basique, mais le NFT ajoute différentes choses. Mais ça, je peux louer vos services. Voilà, c'est plutôt sous forme de mandat. Parce qu'un NFT, en fait, à la fin de la journée, c'est ce qu'on appelle un smart contract, donc un contrat intelligent. Je ne vais pas rentrer à la définition de ça. Mais d'acheter des parties du corps de quelqu'un, je doute. Par contre, d'acheter l'image, ça c'est négociable et on rentre dans l'expertise de monsieur Marc Christian qui est la intellectual properties. Et dans ce cas-là, je vous enjoins d'aller lui poser ces questions-là. Mais effectivement, tant qu'on ne dépasse pas les limites du droit, on peut. Presque. So you see that you can be extremely creative with your questions. Please feel free.
And this is the Web3.
Again, the experts are here. So, yeah.
Hi. I have a very basic question. I understood fully that it's very important to create a community, but so how in fact you can create a community if you're already based, for example, in Instagram and you have emails, you have website, but how to create a community on the Web3?
You have to attract them. So to give them something more than before, to make more, to inform them more, to be more. This is the point, really, because we are always talking in the Web3 about community, like if it was something from, no, to build and to create your community, you need to attract your community. So it's basically communication, marketing, to be on the right channel with an event in real life or not, or with your video, your communication, and so on. So it's just to find the population where the population is. So
yeah, but it's another population that normally perhaps you have.
Yes. I'm just going to add. You can use, of course, the channels that you already have. You have a following on Instagram, so you can use that base in order to educate them, in order to explain what is a blockchain, how does it work, what are like my benefits of being part of that blockchain, and use really Instagram or Facebook or wherever they are to move them to the new world. And you really have to kind of be educating so they understand. And I think focusing on the benefits for the consumer is the most important thing. Like, how can I benefit as a consumer? Don't talk about Web3 basically or tokens.
We don't care. Really,
or
Web3 just as a technology. So we don't, it's like for your smartphone. Who knows how it works? We don't care. We just want, we take our phone and our smartphone, Apple, whatever, to call. So the most important thing is to call. And Web3, it's the same. Forget about the technology and just about your product and your DNA. And you have to give something, like you have to think all the time when you think about your brand.
Okay, and then we give, if I understand well, and then we give them tokens, and with the tokens they can do something else.
it's one possibility, yeah.
One possibility.
Yeah, like Starbucks has done a tremendous job of onboarding non-blockchain, non-crypto people by really just emphasizing the benefits that they have when they are part of the ecosystem, how they're accumulating loyalty points, but they're also being part of a new world. They can meet in the metaverse, they can meet digitally, they can understand how coffee is made, similar to what I explained.
It's a question of storytelling after that.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Yves Saint Laurent Beauté did the same maybe 6 months ago, and they educate their client to the new Web3 ecosystem, and they help people to get a wallet, to explain what is a wallet and what is the use of a wallet, and so and so. And it was great. It was a good operation.
Okay, thank you.
Education is very important.
Thank you.
As
thank
it is
you
for
to
us, really, because this is a new field. So.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question.
Completely new field. Very interesting. Thanks to all of you.
Yes, so the technology can greatly support and il peut vraiment aider le business et puis améliorer, augmenter en fait le potentiel. Mais à la fin de la journée, c'est une technologie et donc effectivement la communauté, vous devez la créer, la qualité de votre produit et de vos services, vous devez la créer. Et puis même cette technologie peut être complémentée d'autres technologies comme AI et des choses comme ça. Donc c'est pas une fin en soi, c'est une excellente énergie dans plein de secteurs. Mais effectivement, c'est le storytelling qui va faire que vous avez une communauté.
We're talking too much about the technology and we're forgetting that it's about people.
Exactly. I have a question for you, in the sense that what if they were to start the Web3 journey, how should they? What are the thing they have to think about when they promote their brands? Because I understand that it's, but it can be Web 2 or Web 3, by the way. But there is something specific that you mentioned before. It's the Web 3 is the creative economy. So how can they be an active part of it when they start the journey tomorrow with you?
I'm so sorry, Tian. I'm not sure, again, to have the question.
If they start tomorrow, what should they pay attention to?
Okay, in the Web3. Okay.
Should I start?
And then you want. No, if you want. Okay.
So I think
it's so big.
It's really big.
It's a very big question, and it's always very tricky to answer because there is no formula. So
I think you have to
really
think
to know and to understand what is your brand.
Yeah.
Are you an innovative brand, or are you more traditional, or in which field you are, and what kind of target you want? So there is plenty of answers.
Parce que finalement, si on a peu de notions, comment accorder notre confiance dans une plateforme, quelque chose qui nous dit qu'ils utilisent certaines technologies justement du Web 3.
Ouais.
Parce que finalement, c'est plutôt, on va savoir que quelque chose utilise ces technologies. Mais finalement, comment En fait, c'est plutôt une question, comme je disais, d'éducation, de finalement, on va peut-être avoir confiance dans certaines plateformes qu'on sait qu'elles utilisent, on sait qu'elles utilisent ces technologies-là. C'est une question d'éducation, en fin de compte, de connaître ces technologies, de savoir qu'elles existent, que telles peut-être entreprises sont actives et représentent ces technologies, et nous, on pourra placer notre confiance dans leurs services. Parce qu'en fin de compte, le Web3, c'est très large.
Google?
Ouais.
Do you
justement,
trust Google?
ouais, c'est très bon exemple,
So
finalement.
you don't,
Ouais.
but you do. So
C'est l'utilisateur, c'est l'expérience, finalement, de savoir où sont ses limites. Est-ce que nous, on peut placer notre confiance dans un support? Dans quelle mesure il pourrait y avoir? C'est souvent, j'ai l'impression, quand il y a une nouvelle technologie, elle répare un peu les dérives de la précédente, mais finalement, elle-même, elle crée des nouvelles dérives. Donc aujourd'hui, c'est très nouveau, et on se pose la question, quelles seront ces dérives de ces nouvelles technologies? Où est-ce qu'il faudrait éviter de mettre les pieds?
yes, but first you have to get in before saying that. And you're not in the Web3. So first you have to try to test, to learn, and to understand how it works.
Yeah, I think it's really trying it out that is important, but also having experts by your side that are guiding you through it, because this technology is absolutely not user-friendly at the moment.
No.
It's not, yeah, I mean, but in a couple of years, it's going to be like opening a browser and typing in a web page, and then
Like
you can use it. But we're not there yet. It's still complicated to use. You have to download a wallet. You have to, open a blockchain address. You have to understand kind of the basics. But that was the same with the internet.
Exactly.
Do you know now what the TPT protocol or what it is? Nobody knows
cares?
that.
And
You
who
just
cares
use it. But we're not there yet. And until we get there, until it gets more user friendly, you need the experts who are going to ask you questions. What do you want? Where do you want to go? What is your aim? What is your goal? What is the mission? How can we take your customers on a journey? How can we take them with you when you create your watches? This is all like a discovery part, and then we come to the technical nitty-gritty afterwards. But yeah, at this point, you do need developers, UX designers, strategists who will support you with that, for sure.
With this new technology, it's like if we were discovering again the basics. A brand. What is a brand, and why you are here? And because of this new technology, we are really focusing on the tech, and the tech. And at the end, it's just the why. Maybe today you don't need to use this technology. You will later with a new your budget and your needs and so. But first, before thinking technology, think brand. Your brand.
I would like to add, it is really what you said, because we tend to connect watches to Switzerland, but actually Switzerland is also one of the most advanced country in terms of blockchain regulations, both in terms of regulatory requirements, but also tax. Why does it matter? But also because in the Swiss way, we tend to be very pragmatic in the sense that it's not that we have created thousand provisions in our codes, etc. We tend to say that if it's the same risk, it's the same laws. So we just, in Switzerland, added a few laws to tackle specific, indeed, risks. But otherwise, it's pretty simple, because at the end of the day, we are talking about human behavior. And every time there were bad news, scam, fraud, or whatsoever, and you go back to, the start, we're talking about human behavior. We call it also behavioral finance, etc., in every sector. I'm not saying there is no risk, because it's a new technology. We don't understand everything yet. And also because it's still improving. We're talking about a young technology that has been interesting enough to attract so many interests, because there are things that it can solve. But every time there is something that we see, this needs to be solved, there is a business model somewhere, someone has an idea, etc. So in the next talk, it's going to be 2 people for some of the exactly trust and certification issues that we all ask about. So today we will bring some answer with regard to that, but at the end of the day, it's not, every time there is questions, somehow there were the same question when we first started with internet, and someone told me, if we go back to the .com bubble in the early 2000s, you
It's where
can
we are
spot
now.
exactly the same behavior, the same fraud, the same bankruptcy of all these super ideas, but without substance, and from one day to another, they exploded.
Maybe without the bank mess.
Exactly. I'm not saying it's exactly the same, but
Maybe.
but at the end of the day, yeah, real business with substance, it's what matters. We're gonna close this first part. So I would like to ask our experts to maybe give your very recommendation to either the public or to our 2 brands. By the way, I would like to thank you so much to have come and join us on stage, and also applause for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
And please give your recommendation.
Test and learn.
Very
Recommendations.
Recommendation, test and learn. Try, go, ask, read, go on YouTube, even if it's not very good, whatever. Compare, test and learn. Try. Really, you really need to be. It will be the next. So if you want to stand among the first, you really have to be prepared. And be prepared is today.
Yeah, and from my end also, create a story that people want to be part of. Create something that is really wanting them to be part of the brand and to create the brand with you. Find a way how they can be part of your brand and contribute to your brand. And I think the rest we can discuss after the panel, like the details of how we could do that. But I think that's one of the main things to think of.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your questions.
Allô, allô. Alors, bienvenue pour la deuxième partie, où là, en fait, on va aller plus dans la confiance. Parce qu'en fait, les marques logères se donnent corps et âme pour créer la beauté de leur œuvre, de créer effectivement ce lien avec leurs clients. Et puis, on a beaucoup parlé de comment on pouvait créer une communauté, comment est-ce qu'on pouvait prouver que la montre, au niveau digital, pouvait nous appartenir, et puis comment tracer les composants, comment certifier que ce qu'on dit est vrai. Et puis, là, on a gardé, en fait, nos 2 marques l'horlogère, donc Madame Vanière, et puis effectivement un représentant de la marque Behrens, qui est une marque internationale. Donc comme ça, vous aurez vraiment les points de vue d'une marque suisse-suisse et une marque internationale suisse-internationale. Et puis nous avons 2 experts avec nous. Donc moi, je suis toujours votre host, enfin guest, pour pouvoir enchaîner sur ce talk. Je suis effectivement un Swiss lawyer spécialisé dans la technologie avec une jolie expérience en finance. Et puis du coup, je me pose plein de questions aussi. Donc je fais partie de vous et je me suis posé des questions. Et donc du coup, j'ai invité ces 2 spécialistes qui ont l'air de l'extérieur être des spécialistes dans le même secteur, mais en fait, vous verrez qu'en fait, leurs domaines sont extrêmement complémentaires pour créer ce lien entre justement la marque et vous, acheteurs, et comment est-ce que vous pouvez maintenir cette confiance. Donc tout d'abord, je vais vous présenter Monsieur Guillaume Kunz de la société Watch Certificate, qui lui est en parenthèse le premier lien lorsque vous allez acheter votre montre ou si vous-même vous êtes une marque horlogère et vous vous dites comment est-ce que je fais. Et ensuite après, vous avez une autre société qui s'appelle Wakwali. Il vous expliquera ce que ça veut dire Wakwali. Et puis c'est aussi de la certification. Parce qu'après, il y a une durée de vie. Une fois que vous avez acheté ces montres, vous ne voulez pas l'acheter juste pour 6 mois. Vous voulez le garder des années. Vous voulez, ça se trouve, le revendre ou le donner à des proches à vous. Mais comment est-ce que vous avez continuellement assuré cette authenticité? Donc, the floor is yours, Natasha. No, sorry. You introduce yourself first.
Maybe I'll do it in English for our friends who flew to come here. So nice to meet you. My name is Guillaume. I'm the co-founder of Watch Certificates. In a nutshell, Watch Certificates is a passport for your watch. And we provide this technology to manufacturers, but also for anyone who has a watch and needs to have its digital duplicate made and kept updated. The most common use case is I want to resell my watch and prove the authenticity, or I want to insure my watch at the market value. Those are maybe the most common use case. And we provide our technology to independent watchmakers and to allow them to create and update those digital passports.
And hello, I'm Antoine. I'm from a world a bit outside of the traditional watchmaking scene, as you call it. I work in the world of NFTs, cryptocurrencies, and things like this from a technical point of view and as a founder. And I founded here in Geneva a protocol for certification of digital assets, which resembles a bit what Guillaume is doing around here. But my job here is to prove that you are not buying scams online when we talk about the NFT world, where everything looks a bit the same and you have to be a professional to distinguish your nice watch in 3D as a token on Ethereum from the same watch in 3D, but it's not the right one, and you don't really understand why. So my job is to provide clarity through a new protocol of certifications in the digital space. So I'm not here to throw you some too much technical words here, but to answer the question from a technical or realistic point of view from our brands around here. So thank you for having me on stage. Looking forward for the questions.
Thank you so much. And before we had many questions. I had asked the people to wait on the second part so that they can get the answer from you. So Natasha, I remember you had a question about the certification.
Alors bien entendu, ça paraît un peu basique, mais quand on n'est pas dans cet univers de technologie, je crée un produit qui est tangible, qui est matériel. Maintenant, quelqu'un l'achète, et puis il voudrait savoir, plus tard dans sa vie, le produit va être revendu, il va se passer toute une vie. Comment est-ce qu'on peut faire ce lien entre ce produit qui se perd dans la nature et finalement toujours authentifier virtuellement que c'est bien tel produit qui vient de telle société et tout ce qui l'en suit, peut-être même connaître tout son passif. Comment on peut authentifier cela ?
Alors c'est précisément ce qu'on fait avec Watch Certificate. En fait, quand on génère un certificat, on va avoir des photos haute définition de la montre sous toutes ses coutures, y compris des numéros de série. Et c'est grâce à ces photos qu'on va être capable de vérifier que la pièce qu'on présente à nouveau pour mettre à jour le certificat est bien toujours la même qui a été utilisée quand on a émis le certificat. Parce qu'on pourrait imaginer des gens qui vont donner le vrai certificat avec une fausse montre. Et donc, en fait, c'est pour ça que notre certificat, il contient des photos, beaucoup de photos, pour être capable de justement faire le lien entre l'objet physique et son double numérique.
Si tout d'un coup la pièce elle a du SAV, on a dû changer, je ne sais pas, on voit le mécanisme côté verso, on a dû changer quelques pièces parce que c'est des questions d'usure. En fait, il va falloir mettre à jour ce certificat avec des nouvelles photos à chaque opération. Mais est-ce qu'on peut imaginer qu'aujourd'hui, on peut avoir peut-être des petites boutiques d'horlogers dans certains pays, on leur apporte une pièce, ils font du SAV dessus, et ensuite on va perdre. Comment est-ce qu'on peut perdre cette traçabilité si les photos ne sont pas mises à jour à cette opération-là ?
Et ben, une fois de plus, c'est précisément ce qu'on fait. En fait, on s'est vraiment posé toutes ces questions au début de l'aventure Watch Certificate. Et on a compris que pour y répondre bien, il fallait que ce soit un écosystème où tous les parties prenantes ont un intérêt à utiliser le service. Et donc, on a créé des horlogers indépendants. Donc, par exemple, là, nous, on a démarré l'aventure en France. On a maintenant un horloger agréé dans chaque grande ville. C'est des horlogers indépendants. En gros, c'est le meilleur horloger de la ville qui a accepté de rejoindre l'écosystème. Et lui, il gagne de l'argent à chaque fois qu'il met à jour son certificat. Et en fait, c'est ça le principe. C'est qu'on va être capable de mettre à jour, même si c'est des gens qui ne sont pas les manufactures, ni leur centre de service. Voilà.
En fait, c'est un business un peu captif comme ça, un peu comme les assurances qui, à fin de compte, ont leur panel de carrosserie. Si on a un problème avec la voiture, ils nous proposent ces partenaires-là. Finalement, c'est assez dans cet esprit de ce que je comprends.
Oui et non, parce qu'en fait, on a aussi vocation à agréer les... Nous, on est vraiment un standard de données. On a aussi vocation à agréer les centres de services des manufactures pour qu'eux-mêmes puissent aussi mettre à jour. Nous, notre intérêt, c'est que le maximum de gens qualifiés, et ça c'est important parce qu'on ne va pas agréer n'importe qui, mais soient capables de mettre à jour ce certificat. Et petit clin d'œil pour l'assurance, on vient d'ailleurs de lancer un produit d'assurance, mais je reviendrai sur les bénéfices pour le client final après. Mais là, en 2 clics, il peut assurer sa montre contre le vol quand il voyage à l'international. Donc, effectivement, ça peut ressembler un petit peu à ce sujet de l'assurance.
Sur là, je vais intervenir peut-être avec le lien vers le monde digital. Donc, Laoutiane, merci pour l'introduction. Nous disait qu'avec Guillaume, on a des solutions qui se complètent, enfin, qui sont un peu complémentaires. Moi, je pense par exemple quand l'industrie du luxe fait des stratégies d'onboarding dans le métavers, par exemple. Le métavers, un grand mot. Je pense par exemple à Gucci, qui a fait notamment une grande campagne de vente d'objets dans le métavers pour Roblox. Et là, on parle vraiment de IP, intellectual property, de l'image, de produits digitaux qui sont générés par des marques de luxe. Et là, comment faire le distinguo entre ce produit digital émis bien par cette marque, donc qui est authentifié, on peut faire le lien de provenance du fait que c'est vraiment eux qui le vendent, avec un autre jeton numérique qui pourrait ressembler à celui-ci, mais qui en fait est une arnaque. C'est là où moi j'interviens. Avec le protocole dont on parle par rapport à ce que fait Guillaume, entre guillemets, là on est sur un certificat digital qui est aussi un NFT, donc un certificat d'authenticité où il y a toutes les informations dont tu viens de parler, mais si ces certificats ont du succès et se mettent à avoir de la place dans le monde du numérique, on pourrait imaginer que des entreprises qui veulent revendre des montres créent une fausse copie du certificat de Guillaume et tentent de se faire passer pour le vrai certificat d'authenticité de la montre. Et c'est là où le protocole que je construis intervient, à ce niveau-là d'authentification. Donc on a quand même une grande dichotomie entre le monde physique, le monde numérique. Donc on est un peu en exploration de tout ce qu'on peut faire.
Je vais juste effectivement ajouter un petit peu d'explication parce que bon, pour eux c'est très clair. Mais concrètement, ce qu'il faut voir, c'est que dans le monde qu'on connaît aujourd'hui, on va chez l'horloger, on l'a vu, on a discuté avec et on achète sa montre, ou alors on va certes sur Internet, mais on sait que c'est vraiment cette marque-là, on la connaît et on achète. Et le jour où on revend, on remet sur n'importe quel site notre bien, avec les photos, on a passé 3 heures, moi aussi j'ai essayé de revendre des choses vintage, et puis j'ai passé 3 heures, j'ai fait des photos que j'espérais jolies, etc. Et puis il faut me faire confiance que ce que je dis par rapport à ce bien-là est vrai. Et parfois j'ai la chance, j'ai gardé la facture. Maintenant, lorsqu'on rentre dans le monde de la montre, du luxe ou du vintage, etc., soit effectivement on va là-dessus, mais on sait aussi qu'il y a beaucoup de fake. On sait que par exemple les sacs vintage, c'est 80% si ce n'est plus de fake, et c'est pour ça qu'ils disent ça a été certifié par. Et soit ils émettent par un papier ou par un certificat papier par ces grands noms, ou alors il y a effectivement la première étape qui est la certification effectivement par Watch Certificate. Et ensuite après, on s'est aperçu que c'est plus simple, grâce à la technologie, de revendre ce certificat digital qui atteste que vraiment l'objet que vous avez est certifié, qu'il est vraiment ce que vous pensez être, etc. Et ça, c'est ce qu'a expliqué Guillaume. Mais sur votre site, maintenant, vous allez vendre le certificat digital. Et il y a toujours des gens, on parlait de comportement avant, qui arrivent à s'amuser à peut-être faire un fake de ces digitales. Mais ça, c'est comme un billet de banque, même avec toute la prudence des banques centrales, on arrive quand même à le faire, des fakes. Et donc, il y a des gens qui sont capables, et là, c'est la deuxième partie, eux, ils certifient que l'élément digital, le certificat digital, ça c'est Wakwili, est effectivement authentique, tandis que effectivement Watch Certificate vous garantit que le certificat est bien rattaché et bien authentique par rapport à l'objet. Voilà, je ne sais pas si là c'était plus clair.
Là, quand je t'entendais parler, je me posais la question, mais alors, si on fait une imitation du certificat de Watch Certificate, est-ce qu'on peut faire un fake du protocole qui certifie que le certificat est bien certifié? Est-ce que ce n'est pas une boucle, en fin de compte, où on se court après les uns les autres pour certifier que c'est bien certifié? En tout cas, pour le consommateur lambda, tant qu'il n'y a pas une confiance dans une peut-être grosse société parce que c'est une technologie déployée, connue, en tout cas quand c'est nouveau, c'est vrai que c'est un petit peu difficile en tant que consommateur de s'assurer que le certificat est bien le certificat du certificat.
Alors je pense que tu as mis le doigt sur tout l'enjeu de mon travail. C'est ça qui est le plus compliqué. Et c'est pour ça que notre produit, ce n'est pas un produit commercial, c'est une fondation qu'on est en train de monter en Suisse pour piloter ça d'un point de vue complètement décentralisé en se coupant des enjeux financiers derrière. Et ensuite, on a toute une série de ce qu'on appelle les tokenomics. C'est des règles économiques, des règles du jeu basées sur notre protocole qui crée vraiment qui a un incentive à dire la vérité. Donc c'est plus un protocole de confiance et on fait en sorte, à travers du coup les règles du jeu, un peu comme les règles du jeu d'échecs, que personne n'ait de raison de mentir. Et que tu ne puisses pas du coup faire ce jeu à qui sera le plus fort, qui va dominer sur ça. Parce qu'à chaque fois, il y aura un autre acteur de la communauté qui sera en face de toi pour te bloquer dans ce processus à travers les règles du jeu qu'on a définies. C'est assez compliqué et c'est justement la chose qu'il faut arriver, sur laquelle il faut obtenir la maîtrise pour que ce type de système fonctionne.
Il faudrait presque corrompre toute l'humanité pour... dans le sens, si le protocole fonctionne sur la confiance que place toute une communauté, en fait, il faudrait pouvoir les corrompre tous, ça devient presque impossible.
Exactement. Parce qu'en fait, si tout le monde est corrompu, tu as créé un nouveau système dans la corruption, donc au final, c'est aussi le bon système, si tout le monde cherche la corruption. Et là, on a des advisors philosophes qui nous aident à construire tout ça aussi. Parce que tu touches à la notion de la confiance, c'est quelque chose d'assez compliqué. Et ce qu'on essaie de faire, au final, on parle de faux certificats digital, mais j'imagine que c'est un problème qui existe de toute manière dans l'industrie de l'horlogerie. Je suppose que vous avez de très bons faux certificats d'authenticité pour tenter de refourguer des montres. À mon avis, c'est le même type de problème. C'est juste que moi, je m'attaque avec ce protocole au problème d'un point de vue digital, avec toutes les implications que ça peut avoir, et le manque de tangibilité également. Mais au final, on revient aux mêmes problématiques. Il y a un enjeu financier et il y a des arnaqueurs qui se mettent dedans et qui sont très, très, très créatifs. Et du coup, on essaie de trouver des systèmes d'un côté comme de l'autre pour du coup se protéger de tout ça et offrir une expérience client en toute confiance pour les utilisateurs.
Moi, j'aurais une question par rapport à votre marque Behrens, parce que j'ai eu la chance de la découvrir. Sorry, yes. I would like to have a question because we're talking about trust and certification. I had the chance through Mang Mang to get to know your brand. I must say it's impressive. The design is impressive, and you won impressive already awards. So my question is, how have you created this trust? How have you engaged your client to trust your brand and say, okay, I'm gonna buy it? And it's never too expensive or too cheap to buy something. It depends how much trust and how much you like it, right? So how do you create value through this trust?
Sorry, you mean create?
Why I trust that what you are creating is so fabulous that I'm going to pay the price for it?
Okay. Well, first of all, buying watches is a very personal hobby. You like it or you don't like it. It's simple as that. From a brand point of view, we always want to design something that is unique, that is different from others, and also design based on our own philosophies. So it is important for us to stick on with our preset direction for the brand in terms of design. And we also design different categories of products, watches, and we always try to bring surprises to our clients.
I love it. It's your product that will create the surprise, the emotions, right? And now, if I was to connect now your emotion that of your watch to the end client, on the one side we want surprise, but not when we pay for the price. We want it to be real. We want it to be certified by Behrens, right? So how can you, because I understand that you create a whole ecosystem through these, so liaison between the product and...
Yeah, absolutely. So when we work with a manufacturer, it's different than when we work with a, let's say, auction house. We certified a watch for Christie's, for example, that sold like 3.5 million. It's a very rare watch. And there, the question of authenticity is key, obviously. And we have this very detailed authentication where we say each part, the authenticity, etc. But when we work with a manufacturer, obviously the watch is brand new, so it's authentic. There's no question about that. So the system we developed, Watch Certificate, is more like a vehicle, because the value of the watch is not only the parts in metal, it's also the story. It's also, you know, the emotional connection you make with the buyers. And what we developed for this precise part of the life cycle is like a new type of warranty card that comes with the watch when it's new, and people activate it 10 times more than a currently warranty card that is not very useful, because the warranty card people, they know they bought the watch new, they have the invoice, so they don't really bother to extend the warranty. The activation is around 5%, depending on the countries. And our system is 10 times this activation, because when they look at the card, so first it's in metal, so there's the wow effect, you know. I have one here. I'm going to show you. It looks like that. So, you know, when you have it in hand, you feel it's heavy and stuff. Then you scan it, and it goes in the wallet of your phone. You don't have to download any app. And at the back of the card, we write down all the benefits for the user, which are like essentially, I want to insure my watch. One click, the watch is insured. I want to blacklist the watch if it's stolen. One click, the serial number is shared with all the major resellers online. And those type of things are values for the owner that are not really linked to the manufacturer itself, but more to the future life cycle of the watch. But what is interesting for the manufacturers is that once we have onboarded the user, and of course he can decide to create a link with the manufacturer, then the manufacturer has the ability to see the end user, the owner, which is not always the case when you resell your watches through retailers, because the retailer, it's not his job to write down the email and make sure it's a correct address. So it allows this is what we were discussing, you were discussing in the panel just before about Web3, which is great promise. But this is a very concrete way of delivering on this type of promise, to be able for the manufacturer to know who the owners are, and even if the watch changes hands afterwards, still know who is the second owner. So yeah, that's part of the example that we give to manufacturers.
I agree, because one of the major things when you are a collector, be it a car, a watch, or anything else, the price is also the history of the previous owners. We know that our car that has been driven by James Dean or let's say George Clooney doesn't have the same value that if I was the owner. So, but the thing is very complex to trace that, except if they were kind enough to make picture of themselves next to the car, for example, or with the watch at the wrist, right? But if you can follow up on the blockchain, certify that these people has been the previous owner, of course, the value of your watch or car or paintings or photographs is not the same. So this is also a good way to enhance the value of your product. I don't know whether you also have a comment to our expert.
Well, I do have a couple of questions because I'm very junior in terms of NFT or any certificates knowledge. I only heard about NFT from my 14-year-old son 2 years ago. And I've always been trying to ask him what it is. So I did a bit of studies. For example, from a brand point of view, if we are to register a watch before we sold to our client, that means when the client buy the watch, they have to come and activate their ownership. Am I correct?
Yeah, but since 90% of people do not have a MetaMask wallet or do not trade cryptocurrencies, they don't know what it is. So we did, yeah, everybody heard about cryptocurrencies, but not most of people do. Like we know for a fact, when we talk with the owners of watches, we know that the blockchain and NFTs, amazing technology, but it's not yet being used by everybody. And so to solve this issue, because the tech is so interesting, we have created a system where we can hold the NFT for them, and in case they have a wallet, then they can retrieve it. But for the other 90% of people, it's very easy, and we don't even need to bother them with talking about NFTs or Web3. And I think this will change in the future when our banking apps allow us to retrieve the NFTs. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the next things for the banking sector. It does make sense that you could keep your assets in there. And then we would see more people retrieving the NFTs to put it in their banking apps. And I mean, some of the users want to retrieve the NFT, but it works for everybody. This is very important for us to make it universal. That's very key to. We were talking about trust. I think trust is also simplicity. If we start to get into too technical details, we lose most of the people. And this is where we also need the help of company like yours, because it's very high tech. Then only a fraction of the people can navigate through that thing.
Yeah. We say we will have won the game about blockchain when people will use blockchain without even realizing it. Because right now it's still really technical. The user experience when you use blockchain product is pretty confusing, but it's a really powerful technology. Basically, in this kind of scenario with certification, the blockchain technology allows to have a common format shared by all actors to describe the certification points that you need for the watchmaking industry and to provide an universal way to access it by sharing a standard. It means with this kind of system, anyone, any watchmaker can have the same format to share the information about certification and also give a common point of entry for the clients to check the data of their certificate, and they don't have to go to each watch shop to check it. Another really important aspect of blockchain technology is also immutability. That means you can prove nobody modified the record. You can prove that as a watchmaker, maybe you made a mistake and you changed the thing in your database and nobody sees. With blockchain technology, you cannot do that. So it's another level of trust. Then also it's really good if you want to create a common trust between all of the different actors that are engaging. And to give you a more feeling about what the technology of blockchain is really, an NFT is a title of property, but a digital one. It means like maybe you have, maybe you used iTunes at some point. You were able, before the streaming era, you could buy some songs on iTunes, like for $1 you buy one song, for $10 you buy an album. But what do you really have when you do this? Actually, you don't buy anything. You buy a license to use and to listen to music. But it's not yours. It's not your property. If Apple decides that they don't like you, they can lock your account and you don't have anything. Or if you have like a $20,000 worth of dollars of music library and you die, your child, they cannot inherit it. Like it's not a property they have. And the objective of NFT is to create a common standard where you buy a song, you actually buy the license, and you can give it to your child, you can give it to your friends, you can lend it to someone, you can actually own it, and nobody can lock you out of this system. And you create a property economy in the digital space. It's what's important with the NFT technology. It's really this point. It's what it's enabled. It's the first technology enabling the true digital property.
Thank you so much, Antoine. So we understand that, wow, the possibilities are great, and really there are still so much to explore. Thank you so much, Guillaume and Antoine, for your expertise. And thank you, Brent Behrens, and you, Vanya, to join our panel. Of course, we unfortunately don't have time to take your question now, but feel free to come and ask questions, because now we'll start very soon to the cocktail. So let's enjoy, and if you have questions, of course, we're here for you.
Yeah, of course. We'll be around for a long time. No worries. Come discuss with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.